In this week's Forex forecast, we're going to be looking at all of the important supply and demand zones created by the large institutions and the banks in order to help you with your trading this week. All right, first things first is the US dollar index. The past week, the institutions got rid of 5,100 longs and they also got rid of 5,200 short positions. And I highly recommend after you watch this weekly Forex forecast to go back and watch the last week's Forex forecast to get an idea of the accuracy of these supply and demand zones. Like I said last week, we are reacting off of monthly and weekly supply on the US dollar. But if you look, what's holding price up is this little daily demand zone right here. It's not a high quality area of demand, but it is what is responsible for holding price up. So I will not be super bearish on the dollar until this daily demand has been removed. If you come to a 4-hour chart, for me to continue to be bullish the dollar, I will basically have to see a new high breaking this level up here at about 96.9, make a new high up there, and then that 4-hour trend will continue, and I think we could probably see higher prices in the DXY. Looking at Euro USD forecast, the past week the institutions got rid of 13,000 longs and they also got rid of 6,300 short positions, which leaves them 47% short the euro right now. If you are going to be getting in long, my long side target would be 1.141. If you're going to be looking for short-term positions to the short side, my target would be 1.117, just below this low. Looking at a daily chart, we have finally removed this daily area of supply that was kind of holding up price. And I'm personally very bullish the euro and bearish the US dollar. Just have to see some things play out. For me personally, I have an alert set up here on the 4-hour chart because if that goes off, we will have a clean 4-hour uptrend. And then I'll be looking for 15-minute set and forget trades to the upside. If you don't know what set and forget trading is, check out one of my most recent videos. You will see it. It is exactly the strategy that I apply when all 3 of my time frames are trending. So that is what I'm waiting for on the euro. Clearly we're reacting off of this 4-hour area of supply right now. With the NFP news that came out on Friday, we saw a price push up, react off 4-hour supply, break down lower, and now we're actually reacting off of it once again. The day hasn't closed since the recording of this video, but it looks like the first evidence that the euro is going to be going higher will be the removal of this 4-hour supply zone, and I won't start looking to longs until basically 1.138 is removed on the euro, like I said, and I'll be day trading this pair next week. All right, on to gold, XAU USD. The past week, the institutions got rid of 16,156 longs, and they also got rid of 7,600 short positions. Looking at a weekly chart, we are still in this weekly area of demand that I pointed out last week, and we are reacting off of it. In my opinion, this weekly demand is not that great. We could actually see it be broken here. Looking at a daily chart, we are also reacting off of this daily area of demand, but it has been tested now once, twice, and now 3 times. So I'd be very careful buying gold around this level. I think that we could actually see some downward pressure on gold. If you are going to get in long, I would target 1850 right before this daily area of supply. And if you're going to get in short, I would target maybe 1710. I know that it's a long target away, but I think if we do end up breaking this daily demand on gold, I think that we'll see much lower gold prices and ultimately probably come down to maybe 1650. Below 1700 for sure. So that's pretty much what I'm seeing on gold here. I was warning people, maybe don't short gold, but maybe be careful going in long, and the evidence is here, right? We saw a lot of whippy price action. Gold was kind of all over the map. As you can see, for the YouTube and Patreon members, I had a nice 4-hour supply here. So if you got in on this 4-hour supply, very nice trade. And if you guys want my zones, check out the YouTube or the Patreon membership. Links are in the description. It's only $5 CAD per month. It can certainly help you with your trading. I'll draw all these zones for you and you can do what you want with them. But I've received a lot of feedback lately that these zones are really helping people out with their trading. So definitely check it out. It can be very useful for you in your trading throughout the week. All right, on to USD JPY. The past week, the institutions got rid of 24,000 longs, and they also got rid of 57 short positions, which leaves them 86% long on the USD yen. Looking at the daily chart here, we had a nice upward momentum here, and that has now been lost. I talked about how I would be careful around this daily area of demand here. I don't like to buy daily areas of demand like this. I know a lot of supply and demand traders probably would have been, but I expected that we would see a fake out below the zone. But clearly momentum is lost on this pair on the daily chart. So now if you're bearish the dollar, you know, you could be looking for short-term positions to the short side, and I would target 112. If you're going to be looking for longs, I would target right before this daily area of supply at 115. For me to get in short on this pair, I'm going to have to see more downward pressure. I'm going to have to see this low be taken out right here on the 4-hour chart. At the same time, this 1-hour area of demand to be removed as well. This area of demand that I had drawn for the YouTube and Patreon members has held up very nicely now, once, twice, almost 3 times now, but it's getting weaker, and we're seeing the evidence of that. We are pushing down, almost testing the very low of the zone. So once that zone is removed, I'll be very bearish the USD yen, especially since I have a bearish bias on the US dollar. I will certainly be looking to short this pair and be targeting 112 if we get this low broken, and I'll be watching out for that next week. GBP USD, the past week the institutions added 1,977 longs, and they also added 6,200 short positions. As you can see now, we had our target hit at 1.325 looking at the daily chart. So if you got in short and hit that target, very nice. And we clearly saw some sort of upward pressure around there too. And that is because we are in daily area of demand. And real quick, if you are enjoying this video, make sure you guys hit that like button. Comment down below what pairs you're watching this week and what you think is going to happen in the market. I'd be happy to respond to you and maybe spark some sort of conversation. So let me know in the comments down below what pairs you're watching and hit that like button. So if I was going to be getting in long the pound right now, I would certainly want to wait for a shift of momentum to the upside like this, breaking this downward trend line. And I'm sorry for that alert that just went off on my computer. That was very loud. If you come to a 4-hour chart, there's been no evidence at all that price is going to be moving up. For me to get in long, like I said, I'm going to need to start to see the bulls pick this up. At the same time, I don't really want to be shorting, because if you come to a weekly chart, we are in this weekly area of demand right now. If you are going to be going long, I would target 1.355. If you're going to be going short, I would target basically 1.311 to the downside. But like I said, I'd be careful shorting because we're in weekly demand right now, and monthly demand is actually a little bit lower right in this whole general area. So I'd be very careful shorting. If anything, I would just be waiting on my feet and waiting for the bulls to start to pick this one up on lower time frames like the 4-hour chart. All right, USD CAD. The past week, the banks added 7,800 longs and they got rid of 3,078 short positions. We are in this daily area of supply. Once again, that's already been tested, so it's getting weaker by every test. I know a lot of support and resistance traders might disagree, but that is how I personally view the markets. We have clear upward momentum on USD CAD to the upside. I'm personally not going to be trading this pair. I have no interest in it. If you are going to be looking for shorts, I would target 1.27. I think that's the most obvious target. But in my opinion, it's just not a chart that I like to be trading. It's very sideways as far as looking at the bigger picture. Yes, the momentum is up, but at the same time, we're coming to these high areas of supply. So I think that we could see USD CAD turn around. So there's really not too much to talk about on this pair. Yes, we have a nice 4-hour uptrend here, and I definitely like an uptrend like that. But like I said, sometimes that trend's going to come to an end, and I think we could be seeing that due to these higher time frame areas of supply kicking in. So definitely watch out. If you're looking to short it, I wouldn't be shorting until we see a very clear break in this momentum. Wait for that pullback, short to the downside. That would be the only time I would be shorting. For me to get in long the USD CAD, I pretty much need to see this area of supply be completely removed. So I'd have to see a very big move and then come down. But this is all going to depend on the DXY too, and I am short biased the dollar, so I don't think I'll be trading USD CAD much the next couple weeks. AUD USD, the Aussie dollar. The past week, the banks got rid of 7,300 longs and they added 9,600 short positions. The Aussie dollar has been looking very, very weak, as you can see here. We're seeing lower lows being put into place. At the same time, I'm very bearish biased the US dollar due to the DXY being in monthly supply. So I'm personally not wanting to short this Aussie pair right now. At the same time, I don't really want to be looking for longs, but if anything, I would be personally looking for this reversal. I would have to see a significant shift in momentum, and what I'm going to be doing for that would be waiting for this 4-hour trend line and supply to be removed. So an indication that the Aussie is going to be going higher would be for something like this to take place, breaking this trend line and this supply zone, and then you could simply wait for a pullback down to the demand zone that is responsible for that. And that's pretty much what I'm doing on the Aussie dollar. I really don't see a point in trading this pair right now. Yes, the trends are down. It was a good time to be, shorting the Aussie all throughout here, but there's a lot of demand in play that caused me to not really be looking. So it's kind of a weird time in the markets where, I'm kind of waiting and sitting on my feet right now, kind of waiting to see what happens and what takes place, waiting for these momentum shifts to take place on the higher time frames. If you look at the monthly and the weekly chart here, we are in significant areas of demand. So I think at some point now we'll probably see some of these pairs start to kick into gear, and we might start to see some of the bulls pick it up. All right, on to USD Swiss. The past week, the institutions got added 492 longs, and they got rid of 2,300 short positions. Looking at a daily chart, we had this daily demand zone removed right here, and it actually created some new supply up here like this. And that is what I do for the Patreon members. I'll be tracking all the zones like this. My targets to the long side would be 0.94. To the short side would be just right before this daily area of demand at 0.915. Not really a pair I'm interested in trading right now at all, to be completely honest, so I might not go on for too long. We have had some supply zones holding up price very nicely, but I just have no interest in trading this pair. One reason is because look at this weekly chart. It's just kind of in a range, right? We have some sort of, wedge or whatever people call this playing out. So I'm basically waiting for that explosive move to the upside or that explosive move to the downside. I personally think it's going to be to the downside due to the DXY being in monthly supply. So for me to start shorting, I would have to basically see this trend line and this demand zone removed. And like I always say, wait for that pullback, and maybe we'll see a continuation move to the downside. All right, on to crude oil. Last but not least, the institutions added 1,276 longs, and they added 21,700 short positions. I'm personally looking for longs in oil. I'm waiting for shifts in momentum to take place. Our downside target was hit at 65. If you got in short due to the last week's Forex forecast, congratulations. If you're going to be looking for longs, I would definitely target 72.8. That's where I would be targeting. So the reason I'm looking for longs is because we are in this monthly area of demand again, which is located right here. And clearly we've already seen a reaction off of this monthly and weekly area of demand right below this trend line. I was warning people, be careful of this trend line. I think we're going to see downward pressure right around that trend line, and it happened. What I'm personally waiting for, the first sign of evidence that I need is this 4-hour supply removed. We haven't got it yet. So once we get that 4-hour supply removed, it's not quite the evidence I need. I'm going to need to see this trend line be taken out as well on the 4-hour chart. But if we get a move up, a move down, and a move up like that, we will have a nice 4-hour trend line, and then I could be day trading the 15-minute chart waiting for set and forget. So that's my plan on oil. I am bullish on oil due to the higher time frames, and I think we will see higher prices. If you're going to be getting in short, I would at least wait for this 4-hour low to be removed and then continue to move to the downside. But just be very, very cautious. We are in monthly demand, and we could see big spikes. Even though we could see lower prices in oil, it doesn't mean that we won't see some sort of spike to the upside, tag everybody out, and continue the move down. Hopefully you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If you did, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like and check out the Patreon or YouTube membership if you need help finding your supply and demand zones. It's only $5 CAD per month. Hope to see you guys there, and hope to see you in the next video.